Good evening, everybody. I call this meeting Landmarks Preservation and Parks Committee to order at 6:42 p.m. We will now proceed to a roll call. Christina Maria Lopez.
Present.
Marquise Bell. Andrea Brecker is excused. Patricia Caldwell. Jean Delapino. And Gregory Brito. All right, so for the record, with the co-chairs who are in attendance this evening, present. We're going to hear from Leslie's group from Reform Architecture on the renovation project at 27 Hamilton Terrace this evening. For the time being, we do not have quorum. So, if things stand, with that quorum being established, the items that we can discuss are merely informational, and cannot be acted upon without any votes until such time as the quorum is established. So, without further ado, I think we can now skip any motions and let it be a quorum. Reform Architecture, whenever you're ready, we're happy to turn it over to you and begin it forward.
Thank you. This is Reform Architecture here. My name is Dionisio Cortez. I'm here with Leslie DeGros. We are going to present a renovation over at 27 Hamilton Terrace. Let me see if I am have the capability of sharing screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Great. Okay, so roughly how many minutes do we have to present, just to make sure I timed this right?
Generally speaking, about 10, but given that you're the only presentation tonight, I'm more than happy to be a little bit more liberal with time, so take as much time as you need.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, if I skip through something, please let me know, and feel free to interrupt with questions at any point. So this is a mostly an interior townhouse renovation project. The block and lot is over on 250 and the lot is 103. This is for 27 Hamilton Terrace, 10031. It's being filed as an alteration type 1. We have started already a permit application, a LPC application with Landmarks. It is still being reviewed, and this is, this presentation and going through the hearing process is part of the process. I'll go over the scope quickly. Most of the work is going to happen, most of the exterior work is going to happen on the back facade. We're planning on remodeling the terrace, which is not viewable from any street, and adding a second floor deck. And that's kind of primarily what we're going to be focusing on, because that is what is visible from St. Nicholas Street. There's a few other modifications that we're doing. We're going to be opening a window, or we're planning on opening a window on the back facade. And then actually we're building a new bulkhead, but it actually will be reduced in height a little bit, so it will be even less visible. So we'll go over that as well. And then a very, very minor scope in front of the facade, where we're just relocating 2 light fixtures and cleaning up some of the conduits. We were told by our plan examiner at Landmarks Commission that scope they will review at the staff level. So we didn't include too much information in this presentation. And just for you guys to know, the interior scope is basically a gut reno. We're doing a new kitchen, new stairs, and the client wants a new elevator. So we'll move on from that. I think everyone is kind of familiar with the neighborhood. This is the Hamilton Heights Historic District. Our lot is over on the east side, kind of between St. Nicholas and Hamilton Terrace. The area here that is kind of tricky, or the reason why you're able to see our back facade, you'll see in the next slide, is because there's a pretty substantial height difference between St. Nicholas and Hamilton Terrace. here's just a quick streetscape that we just normally include for general view of the precedents. This is a site plan. We are approximately 90 feet elevation, and St. Nicholas is at around 60 feet elevation. These two buildings here are single stories. So if you are standing on St. Nicholas, you do see part of the back facade of our building. This is shown here. This is kind of approximately what the heights are, and the second story deck that we are planning to propose, and a little bit of the few changes to the bulkhead for the new stair. Moving on, here, just again, just more for your information, the very little scope of work is we're just moving these two sconces down onto the sides, and there's a bunch of kind of conduits that were not properly placed that we're going to put internally. So this is going to be reviewed by the staff level, but we just wanted to kind of present it here. Most of the work that is going to be part of this presentation, or as part of this presentation, is the back facade. The client wants to open up a big sliding door in the back for that exterior deck, and then reduce the size of the ground floor opening to slightly smaller 3-panel door. The deck is going to be aluminum, and everything is sort of prefabricated, so it's a system that I'll discuss a little later, along with the spiral staircase that's for accessory only. It's not really a egress, since all the floors have their own egress paths. Up here, we're going from the current bulkhead is at 55.9, and we're reducing it about a foot or so. So we're gonna, I think it was originally 9, and we're bringing it down to 8. So it's actually going to be less visible, as you'll see in some of our later slides. A close-up of the scope of work. We're removing all these existing windows and sliding doors. We're going to open up approximately 13-foot by almost 10-foot opening. And we're planning on installing new precast stone lintel to match the historical ones above, and a new 6-pane sliding doors. The metal, there's going to be the metal deck and the metal railing are all part of the same system, the Timber Tech. We have a few quick specs on the later slides, and all of the panels, the door panels and sliding doors are going to be sort of a natural aluminum color to match the existing windows up here. These we're not changing or removing any of the original. I don't believe they're historical, but we're trying to match the windows up on the second floor. Okay, here's a floor plan. We're going to extend the deck around 5 feet from the facade, the back of the facade. And it's all going to be this Timber Tech aluminum framing with three posts and a sort of pre-manufactured accessory spiral staircase. Let me know if you want me to go into details, or I can easily go back in the slides. This is going to be a standard 42-inch guardrail, and the attachment it's going to go through the existing masonry through, I think, just like a anchor bolts, like Simpson strong tie anchor tension ties. Here are the materials that we're proposing. The back facade is currently stuccoed. There's only a little bit of a new stucco where we're proposing, which is right around here. This is kind of the area that we are adding of new facade. So we're building. It's going to be masonry substrate, and then the stucco, and then we're going to paint the stucco to match the existing conditions. The stone lintels are also going to match the existing stone lintels. And then the sliding doors are going to be this sort of aluminum, either white finish to match the existing frames. The sconces that we're proposing are to match the ones that are on the front facade. And then the steel deck along with the stairs are going to be all mostly just black painted aluminum. And then this is the final color of the back facade, as you'll see in the renderings. Okay. Here are some just quick specs for you guys to reference. This is the tempered deck that we're imagining. This is very much what it's going to look like. It's just this black aluminum simple framing system with this engineered deck material. We're going with the, I think, what was it, the espresso. And this is the kind of spec that we're doing for the stair. It's a Paragon stair, kind of simple, again, just black metal finish. And here is the existing rear facade, and here's what the proposed is going to look like. We're going to take the color from down here and bring it up along the rest of the facade as we kind of renovate and expand this sort of window and add the deck. We're also going to clean up all these cables that kind of were scattered throughout while we do the project. I believe that is, here are some reference photos. This is the 19 photos tax photo that we found. At this point, I don't believe it had stucco on it, and then it was added back in the 80s. And then this is the current facade now, that as much as you can see from St. Nicholas. And then this is our proposed, we did a winter study. This is existing conditions, and this is what you will see from St. Nicholas is basically the addition, the enlargement of that opening. And then this is what it would look, our study from the summer. So it's still visible, I mean, obviously depending on foliage, but that's approximately what you would see. Now for the bulkhead, it's pretty minor scope of work. What we're going to be doing is we're pushing this back, so we need to push the condensers back a little bit, and then we're going to propose. Here's kind of a quick study. It's being enlarged towards the back and being pushed a tiny bit. So the existing was 14.6, and we're going to 14.9. So you'll see a little bit less of it, and it's going to get shorter. And we're just shifting everything back to allow room for the interior elevator that we're proposing, which is not going to go up to the roof. It's going to end at the 3rd floor. Here's the enclosure that we are proposing for the new condensers. We did a mock-up, which you'll see in one of the photos, and it is not visible from Hamilton Terrace. Here's a quick little elevation, kind of showing the height difference. We're going from 9 feet to 8 feet. We're keeping the single step, and we're just here in this section, I think you'll see, we're just kind of pulling this back to give the code clearance height or their head clearance height, pushing back the condensers. Here is the mock-up we did of how far the new condensing units are going to go. This is basically the outline of the screen that will be blocking them. And this is a photo, obviously after the mock-up was constructed, and you cannot see the framing or any of the screen mock-up from this sidewalk. And similar, you obviously also can't see it from St. Nicholas as well. We're proposing very simple bulkhead. It's going to be aluminum standing seam siding with just a white coping cap. Same with the roofing, which is going to kind of keep it simple. And then the screen for the condensing units, we're also imagining just simple wood slats that that can breathe, and also just a white aluminum finish door to replace that. This is a quick study. You can see the existing, and we'll zoom in a little bit here. The new is actually going to be a little bit smaller than what was originally proposed. So it's kind of hard to mock that up, but I think you get an idea from this study that you'll see a little less of it. Okay, and then what else? Okay, and that's pretty much it. that's the end of our presentation. If anyone has any questions or if you want me to go back to some of the details, I'm happy to.
Thank you very much for that informative presentation. Quick question about just the downsizing. I understand you're not downsizing significantly, but is that downsizing going to affect the structural integrity of the building in any way, or is that just de minimis?
The downsizing of the bulkhead?
Yeah.
No, that the only thing, the structure is gonna get affected, only here where we have to open up a little bit of the roof to enlarge the stair bulkhead. But that's sort of more internal, and we're gonna provide shoring and new sister joists when we do that. But that should not affect the structural integrity of the building at all.
Thank you. And another concern that several members of the community have voiced, not necessarily about this project, but projects in general, is that when it comes to their design, certain projects are not funded to be as durable as is ideal. I understand there's always a cost factor to it that needs to be balanced out when considering these issues. Do you anticipate requiring, short-term maintenance that's anything out of the ordinary?
No, I think the two proprietary specs that we chose have pretty long durability. So I could check the warranty. I don't know, do you remember this thing?
I don't have the warranty, but it's a composite material, which means it'll last longer than wood would.
The natural wood,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and I
Can you
think
repeat that last part? The composite material, which means
It's sorry, what's the question?
I didn't hear that last part. You said it's a composite material, which means, and then your voice is a little faint.
Yes, it's an engineered product, so we don't have the warranty handy. But we expect that it should last longer than natural wood.
Got it. Okay. Very good.
and also the main change to the building structure, we're obviously planning on putting a W section to hold it up. And we had an engineer look at that, so that portion of it, is solid, right? So it's a kind of permanent addition that shouldn't require any other additional maintenance.
Sounds good. We're happy to open it up to the floor. Does anybody else any of our attendants online have any questions? All right.
And there's no proposed hearing date yet, correct?
Are you asking about the LPC presentation to?
Yeah.
To the city edition? Yeah, well, we are on the agenda for May 5th. This date has been coordinated with our preservationist. But I mean, I guess it depends on the next steps for this process.
Yeah, so the next time this group would meet to be able to vote would be
May
May 6th.
Mhm.
So that would affect that. And then my other question kind of related to this process is whether you've done any outreach with neighbors, block associations, etc. about this proposed project.
We posted notices in the neighborhood.
Have you heard any feedback?
Okay, yeah,
That we posted notices a few weeks ago, no?
yeah, we posted physical notices around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And did you receive any feedback from any of your neighbors?
We haven't gotten any emails or calls regarding.
Okay.
This.
Understood. Anybody else? Any questions online? All right, well, thank you very much for your time. It was much appreciated. We will get back to you. First thing, we do not have a quorum tonight, so we are unable to vote on anything or to be able to, lend our voice for any direction of president, but if there's anything required from our end that necessitates any further actions before May 6th, which is our next meeting, we will try our best to accommodate that request.
Sorry, could you repeat the last part? I think you were cutting out a little bit.
Oh, no worries. I was just saying that we don't have a quorum at present tonight. So we're not able to take any executive actions or vote on anything. If you require anything from our end, feel free to let us know. We'll try to accommodate any of your needs in the next few weeks, because our next meeting in person is going to be on May 6th. So if the hearing is on May 5th, I suspect that any such vote as we may take then might not be useful to you.
Okay,
Gotcha. Okay, so I guess the other question is, would it help to send this presentation to you or someone in the community board?
Yes, please, yeah.
Yeah,
Please do.
I
We'll share with the committee members.
right now I saw that Stephanie shared her email. Is there somebody else that would be good to send this presentation to?
Christina will send you her emails shortly in the chat.
Okay. Perfect.
one last question.
Yep.
When talking with our preservationist, he mentioned that eligibility to present in front of the LPC, the Landmarks Commission depends on a resolution by the full community board.
Mhm.
So does it mean when you have a quorum on May 6th, what are the next steps after that to get a resolution from the full community board?
Well, getting a resolution of support, we would require some feedback from the parties that are likely to be impacted by this, meaning the neighbors to whom you've issued notices. We need to have a member of the community go on site, which I would have invited folks to do tonight, but for the fact that unfortunately it's just the co-chairs that are in attendance are present.
If Victor's on, we can have a quorum.
Victor's not a member of the,
Oh,
and to establish a quorum, we need a minimum.
oh, no, I just said it. I'm just reading something that said
Yeah.
he was on.
And also, and even if he were, given that he's attending virtually,
Oh,
he would not be able to vote.
gotcha.
Yeah, so this is what we generally need. If you can give out a resolution in support of that. What it requires to have a member, at least one or two members of the committee. Go out to investigate the site in person. And to, hear back from as many of the neighbors that are impacted as possible. Obviously, the more positive or neutral feedback that we get, the likelier we are to lend our support for your proposal. Any other questions?
Okay, I guess, is there anything else we can do on our end to I guess to help push this so we can be ready for our May 5th hearing?
Just sharing the presentation so that we may send that to committee members to get a feel of where people stand and how they feel about your proposal. That would be
Okay.
very helpful. The sooner you get that sent in, the sooner we'll circulate it, and in turn should be able to get some more feedback, hopefully before the May 5th cutoff.
Got it. Okay, yeah, we'll send this right away then.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your presentation time. Much
Great,
appreciated.
thank you for having us. Appreciate everyone's time.
Absolutely. And just one point of clarification, I'm not sure. You accidentally misspoke, but when it comes to presenting in person, you're more than welcome to present here. You wouldn't need to have, an affirmative resolution authorizing you to present. We welcome anybody and everybody to present, obviously subject to availability and being able to accommodate with other co-presenters. Okay.
Got it. Yeah. Okay,
Super.
great. Thank you, everybody.
So
Yeah,
I have
thank
one
you.
more-
Oh, yeah, wait, one more question.
one more question. So
Yeah,
but
please.
will there at any point be a need to present again to the community board?
Not if you don't want to, yeah. But if you know, if it's your desire to do so, get in touch and we'll try to accommodate you, especially given the fact that, you know, the paucity of attendance would make your request understandable. And we're more than likely to accommodate. I just don't want to make any promises, given that there could be 4 or 5 other presenters that pop up out of the blue also wanted to present.
Got it. Okay, and so our understanding, there's a full community board scheduled for April 15th, is that right?
16.
Or
That is
16th?
correct. Well, it's the third Thursday of the month.
Right.
And I believe you've got your dates right. That would be the general executive board meeting. So it wouldn't be LPP specific, it would be comprehensive of all committees. Now, if once you send us the presentation, we share with fellow committee members, we're able to get the ball rolling and moving in that direction, then there might be a good chance that you can put that to a vote. And secure an affirmative vote, but it's a bit of a tight deadline because April 15th is only 2 weeks away. So the likelihood that we'd be able to send someone out to investigate the site and for enough people to view the presentation and the substance of your proposal is based on precedent, not too high.
Abraham, Victor here. Can you hear me?
Hi, Victor, yes.
Yeah, one other option we can look into is having him present at the executive board the week prior to the 15th. I just have to check our schedule and see what we have already online for that, but that's a possibility. And then it could be reviewed by the executive board and approved there. We would need somebody to go out and take a look. I would also ask if you could get statements, architecture firm could get statements from the neighbors on either side of the 27 Hamilton Terrace to get their input. Just a suggestion to try to move it along.
Okay.
Looking at the presentation, I don't see much inconvenience from the St. Nicholas Avenue side. I know that bus stop that was pictured quite well when you look up. I mean, it's quite a ways away. But I just always like to know what the neighbors feeling on either side in particular. So that's a thought. If you have you could discuss that with them separately. All right.
Great, that's a great
Thank you,
suggestion.
Victor.
Thank you, Victor.
Okay.
So, Abraham, if we want to try to present to the executive board next week, who should we talk to?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
If we wanted to try to get in the schedule for next week for the executive board, who can we talk to try to see if there's room for us to present again?
I will find out, and I'll have Abraham contact you.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay. All righty.
And just a quick clarification, my first name's Alexander. So
Right. So,
okay.
I always confuse the two. Sorry,
Oh,
Alexander
sorry.
Abraham. Yes.
No problem. Okay, all right.
Right.
So
Thank you, guys.
thanks a lot.
Great presentation. Thank you so much.
Great, thanks.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're now going to move on to announcements and updates. I can see that we've got Stephanie and Karen online. Stephanie from the Riverside Park Conservancy, if you want to go ahead and take the floor, you're more than welcome to.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. This is Stephanie from Riverside Park Conservancy. I have a few updates for you all. Like I shared Riverside Park. So I work from 120th to 181st Street. So I work throughout those 3 miles. Like I shared last month, just want to say our Teen Core applications are live. It's a high school internship for high schoolers who live within Community Board 9. excuse me, to have an internship with us this summer on Tuesdays and Thursdays in July and August. They'll be doing a lot of gardening work and environmental restoration work in Riverside Park and a little bit in Fort Washington Park as well. They get a stipend of $1,000 at the end of the summer. And that application is live for high schoolers who live within Community Board 9. Two other things. Sorry. We have a beautiful vegetable garden in Riverside Park. It's called Jenny's Garden, or on Google Maps, it's called Riverside Valley Community Garden. It's named after Jenny Benitez, who started the vegetable garden in the 70s. She passed away in 2019, but her legacy lives on forever. We will be renaming 138th Street and 12th Avenue after Jenny Benitez. It's going to be called Jenny Benitez Way. And if you'd like to come and visit the community garden on 138th Street and 12th Avenue and be there for the renaming of that street, that's this Saturday, the 4th at 3 p.m. And lastly, a few months ago, we had Merritt Birnbaum, our president and CEO of Riverside Park, and John Harold, the New York City, the Riverside Park's administrator, present about the West Harlem Forest. We are restoring and revitalizing 7 acres of forest in West Harlem from 143rd Street to 153rd Street. So if you remember the goats who came last year, it will be starting in that section. We're going to be revitalizing that area of the park where the goats were. It's a 4-year process, but our kickoff event for that is April 18th, also a Saturday at 10 a.m. We're going to have food, some games, and we're also going to have some goats. It'll be a cute thing where the goats are passing the baton over to the humans to help restore that area. The goats will not be returning to 143rd Street, but they will be returning to 136th Street, so a little bit south this summer. They're coming sometime in July. I don't have any info about that yet, but they're coming, I promise, just at 136th, 137th Street. My email's in the chat if you want to sign up for our North Park newsletter, or if you want any more information about anything that I just said. My email is stephanie@riversideparknyc.org.
Thank you, Stephanie. Next up, we've got Karen from Friends of St. Nicholas Park.
Okay. Can you hear me? Good evening. And
Yes.
I think Matt and Tapashi are both on from Parks. I saw them and I was texting with them earlier, so they can go after me. Just a few quick announcements. It's April, so things are really gearing up in the park, which is always a great time of year. So we have a bunch of events in April that we're planning for. So, sorry. On the 18th, actually, we have we're participating in a Harlem Walk and Talk, which is an advocacy walk that is being put together by New Yorkers for Parks, We Act for Environmental Justice, the League of Conservation Voters, and the Playfair Coalition. And so we're one of the 4 parks that are being highlighted on that tour, which we're excited about. And that's going to be on the 18th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I'll forward the flyer to Youtha and to the committee as well. So that's one, and it's and I'm sure Tapashi was going to mention this, but I'm going to get to steal her thunder. But we've been talking, and our focus in that particular event is going to be on kind of celebrating one of the wins we've had recently with funding, which is that we mentioned last committee meeting, as you'll recall, I thought we would have news to share very soon about the renovation of the playground at 133rd. And Ms. Tapashi Noreen from Parks has sent around the funding for that has now been announced as part of the Mayor's Community Parks Initiative. And we're really excited about the fact that there's now approximately $15 million that's been allocated to redo that playground and area of the park. So that's super exciting news. We're going to talk about kind of, when community gets together and advocates and organizes that they can, make these kinds of things happen. So that's going to be the focus there. And I just want to take a minute because of that really exciting news about the funding, to thank especially the community board and the prior chair and Heather Jason for really working with us to get this priority moved up. every year, and keep the focus on it in the top 10 for the community, needs assessment and the community priority list. That really was helpful. And, all the community stakeholders that really advocated for this, and Matt and Tapashi and people from Parks, it all really worked out this year. And with when Commissioner Shimamura became the Manhattan Commissioner, we got her in the park right away, focused on doing a walkthrough and highlighting this need in the park. And she really picked it up and delivered across the goal line here with us. So we're really, really happy about that funding. And then on the 19th, we're having our big Earth Day kickoff. So that'll be a big event on Sunday in the park. We do it every year with the sorority, the alumni sorority, and that will be a big event again. So come out and join us. I'll send the flyer around for that. And then also CCNY is doing an Earth Day event, and I will forward the flyer for that as well. So that's kind of quick announcements from me, if anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Karen. Any questions, Ruby? Next up, before I move on to the question, I thought I might have seen a slide from Friends of Morningside Park. All right, we'll move on to Tapashi from New York City Parks, historical folks. So, floor's all yours.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Happy April. As Karen mentioned, it's Earth Month. Earth Day is on April 22nd, so later on, but we do have a lot of activities picking up in our park, especially today when it's warm outside. Karen, you did steal my thunder, but thank you anyway. We are excited to share that St. Nicholas has received funds to renovate the 133rd Street Playground. It was one of 10 sites from the Community Parks Initiative, which funds under-resourced or parks that hasn't received any capital projects in several years. So we were able to get that funding. Funding was made possible from the mayor's office, the former borough president Mark Levine, and our council member Yusuf Salam. So this is very exciting news. Most likely we'll start the first step of the capital project is that we have an input meeting with the community, and at that point we'll need everyone's help in getting the word out so that all of the kids from the nearby schools come to the input meeting and let our architects and engineers know what they want to see in the for 133rd Street Playground, the basketball courts, and the barbecue areas. We'll also get restroom in the 133rd. So very exciting news. And I look forward to sharing more details with you. Secondly, the Robinson Day Festival will be on April 18th from 4 p.m. at Jackie Robinson Park. You'll be tabling there, so I'll see you at the event. It is a free family fun event with sports activations such as basketball, soccer, baseball, and track and field. There will also be live performances at the bandshell and community tabling at the plaza as well. So let's see what we have here. As Karen mentioned, CCNY is also doing an Earth Day volunteering in the park. That's on April 24th from 10 to 12 p.m. People will meet at St. Nicholas Terrace at the stairwell across from 133rd Street and 8 Phillips Randolph. And it's an opportunity to help us clean out some of the garden beds, particularly the one closest to that's the 135th Street staircase and the cobblestone bioswales in preparation for spring rains that we may have. At Morningside, the Friends of Morningside Park we'll have from March to November, second Saturdays and Friday morning volunteer cleanups. So if you need any more details about that, feel free to reach out to the Friends of Morningside Park. And last but definitely not least, we are looking for a summer intern with Historic Harlem Parks. So if you know of a young person looking for a summer task and lives in Harlem or is interested in working with the Parks Department, please let them know about our summer internship. And of course, we have our seasonal positions at parks with our city seasonal aide, our gardeners, associate park workers, and city park workers. So many opportunities to get involved with the Parks Department.
Great. Thank you, Tashi.
And just to touch base on Jackie Robinson Day, I'll work on signing the agreement and getting that over to you. I'll also be working on getting some more volunteers from MCB9 to join me in the tabling.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. All right, next up we've got Matt.
I didn't see Matt, but I do see Stephen Cunningham, who is the park manager.
Yeah, Stephanie did go first, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Ewan from West Harlem Historic District. Yeah. Shannon, Volunteer Community Lead. Leslie from the Danny Farrell Riverbank State Park. Mallory from the Greenhouse and Learning Gardens. Callie from the National Park Service. Ashley from New York City Parks Green Thumb. Ashley. Last but not least, John from Riverside Park and West Harlem. Here's Mark. John. Okay.
Abraham, Stephen Cunningham can give an update on behalf of Matt.
Yeah, sure. Savannah, please go ahead and unmute yourself. Good morning. Welcome to Take the Board.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. I don't know if I'm doing the video part right, but I just wanted to share with everyone that we had to make one change for Harlem Sculpture Gardens, and that is Michael Levchenko's work. He had a medical emergency, and so the Ukrainian community is stepping in, and they are going to make sure that another piece that's similar will be brought in from Long Island, and a group of painters will paint it for him so it could be there prominently at St. Nicholas Park in 135th. We are also going to, on April 19th, which is a Sunday, have a It's My Park Day. And on the avenue with the street trees and the tree beds, we're going to till, aerate, add compost, and mulch to make the entranceway very attractive. And so it would look very nice. And the last thing, our stargazing event went exceptionally well. We had a lot of people that showed up. Veronica Savage was there with her husband and son. We had a reporter there, and people asked, when are we going to do another stargazing event? So the whole purpose was to connect nature to what we're doing with the arts so people could understand why, and it seemed like it worked. So that is the update.
Fantastic. Thank you, Savannah. Before we conclude the announcements and updates segment. It is my understanding that Stephen has joined us from the New York City Parks.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm sorry. Okay, so in Matt's stead, I really didn't have anything prepared, but this is our start of our spring, and we're getting everything ready in the parks. So look out for water turn-ons are being conducted now. So soon we'll have everything up and running in the parks for as far as irrigation and getting our green areas to start blooming and popping and looking beautiful for everyone. Definitely, if you're interested in signing up for volunteer events, please do so. We use all the help we can in Morningside, St. Nicholas, all the Harlem historic parks. So anything that you can latch on to with any people that you can send our way, we'll definitely look into it and get them out there and definitely have a good time beautifying our parks. Um, let's see. I think that's really it. Like Savona said, we have the art installations coming up soon, so that'll be extra beautification of the parks, and everything in the works is going well. That's really all I have to report.
Great, thank you, Stephen. I can see a question from Juan.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. There are two concerns that I have. I moved here in 1993, and through COVID, the park helped me restore my life, right? Because we were basically living in our apartments. One concern I have is that uh, after COVID, the public who have dogs have decided that they do not want to leash their dogs on Riverside Park by the edge of the water. From 145th all the way to the bridge, you cannot run because there will be a dog that will run with you, or sometimes they come and they want to play with you, and at that point I just want to do my run and be safe and get back home. And the people who have the dogs, they think that their dog wants to play with you, but I love dogs, but when I'm running I don't really need that hassle. And I don't see any signs in the park that say you're not allowed to have a dog unleashed. I think this is for the Parks Department. Another problem I see is that men, this is really a problem with men who ride their bikes on Riverside by the edge of the water. They like to go into the green areas where people are sitting on the grass and hanging out, and they don't respect that. And the gentleman here from the Parks Department, I'm sure you have seen it because I have friends who work in the Parks Department, and they tell me when they tell people to get off the grass or to leash their dogs, they curse them out. And these are workers, New York City workers who help our parks, and they get abused like that. Is there anything we can do about these two problems? Uh, the gentleman who's working for the parks?
Thank you, Juan. Stephen?
Yes.
Not sure
So
if you got all that.
no, I'm still here. To answer your question, that's a really the enforcement of the parks and regulations are done by our parks enforcement police. Um, but they're very limited in their I want to say amount of workers that they have right now. So they are doing the hiring and the numbers for the busy season, they're able to address more of that. But when it's the down season, it's really hard for them to actually get out and actually enforce those rules. So there is signage about that specific area. I'm unsure of how much signage is there, or whoever's running that part of the park. So you said Riverside, right?
Yeah, if
To
you
the
if
gentleman.
you if you start on 145th and you go all the way to GW Bridge, all that beautiful green area is used massively by not only people who live in those beautiful tall buildings on Riverside Drive, but also by immigrants. People who come to the park because they don't have air conditioning, so they go to that area. And every single blade of grass is used by people constantly the entire spring, summer, and fall. But there is abusive bike riders. I bike my whole life. I bike everywhere. If I go to see somebody, I bike, but I don't go into the grass and I stay on the paved area. But sir, there is no signage like in Central Park that says if you get on the walking areas, get off your bike, dismount. And there are these men, I don't want to be racist, but these white men with $10,000 mountain bikes that have the saddest existence, that they think that they can go into the green area and ruin the grass for everybody, but they can go as fast as they want because they have a very expensive bike and they can just crash into you and you will lose. But the dog situation is also very aggravating because people don't see their dogs as animals. They think that they're people and that they can call their dog back before they run into you or they bite you. But I understand. My friend works on the 151st area where there's basketball and the softball areas, and she tells me she doesn't tell people anymore because when she tells people to leash their dog, they curse her out, you know? So
Yes,
I
I
don't know what
understand.
to do, but I hope that you find somebody to at least if you got 5 people saying it for a week, you will have no problems after that because people understand quickly what's happening.
I understand. So the manager for that region, he actually wanted to be on the call, but he said that he was going to be driving, so he wasn't able to attend tonight. But he did ask me to let him know if there were any questions. So I'll definitely route this to him and let him know that they need signage and ask Pep for a detail there. Okay.
Thank you
Thank you,
so
Stephen.
much. Thank you
No
so much.
problem, sir. No
Thank you
problem.
so much.
I also want to comment real quick. My name is Stephanie. I work at Riverside Park, so I know exactly the area that you're talking about, Juan. Stephen, I actually have meetings with Gary Rothman, so I can also bring this up with him as well. There is no signage for off-leash dogs, except for right below the Denny Farrell Bridge, but there's not enough signage. There are other parts of the park that have signage with maps on them of where you can have off leash dogs or at what hours and such. So I can bring that up to Gary as well, as well as there are no signs to dismount. But I will also share too that the more funding that the Parks Department has, the more workers, the more PEP officers can be in the park patrolling as well. And so, highly encourage you, Juan, and anyone else on this call to look up the parks. I think it's called Parks Power campaign. It used to be the 1% for Parks campaign with New Yorkers for Parks. So if you just Google New Yorkers for Parks, they're strongly advocating to get more funding for the Parks Department because the Parks Department only has 0.6% of the city budget, funding from the city budget. So we're trying to get the new mayor to give the Parks Department more, right? And with more funding, hopefully more signage and more people to patrol the area. So wanted to put that out there as well.
I will write
Thank you,
to
Stephanie.
elected officials about this, Stephanie. Please don't forget to send me that info
I
for the
won't. I
chicken
copied
tag.
your email. I got you.
Thank you. Thank you
No
so
problem.
much.
All right, cool.
Um,
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Stevens.
Oh, I can see there's a
Alex,
question from Aisha. Aisha, you may unmute yourself. Aisha?
Hi, good afternoon or good evening rather. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect, thank you. I just wanted to raise an issue and I've sent in 311 complaints. This is for Morningside Park at 118th Street. So it's for the adult fitness area in particular. I sent a few complaints into 311 about the mat. So under the mat, the ground is kind of caving in. I don't know if it's like it needs more dirt or something. And so it's really dangerous. I actually hurt my knee working out in the area because I didn't know it was caving in. So certain areas of that adult workout area are just caving in. And when I submitted the complaint to 311, they said that they were going to fix it and it just was never fixed. It's especially dangerous under one of the pull-up bars because when you jump down, your foot will just sink into it. So there's that. And then just, you know, that area is getting more and more. There's a basketball court right next to the workout area on 118th and Morningside Park. And the kids there, like, robbing people, stealing people's wallets. And they've already kind of started up with that again. So I don't know if there can be more enforcement in that area. I know there's usually a police car sitting on the street level, but you can't really see up into the basketball court level if you're sitting on a street level. So that's just all I had to say for tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aisha. Sorry to hear your injury and the increase in crime rate around the area.
Yes,
Steve, would you
Aisha,
like to address that?
I'm sorry. Aisha, that's my park, so I'll definitely take a walk tomorrow morning and see the condition. I'm not sure when you put the 311 in, but usually we have to respond back to it. If they told you that it was going to be done, then it might have landed in shop's hands, and we certainly have a backlog of shops work to do. So I'll follow up on that, and if you can, just submit another 311, and I'll see where it's landed.
Okay, thank you. I'll submit it tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. That concludes our announcements and general updates segment. Before we proceed, I wanted to note that quorum was established at 7:30 p.m. with Marquise Fell and Gregory Brito in attendance. So we may now proceed with action items. So Christopher, are there any changes to the agenda that anybody wants to propose?
No changes.
Great. Well, I move that we adopt the April 1st, 2026 agenda.
Second.
Lovely. All right, so since there's no further discussion, we will proceed to a vote. All in favor? All right, so 4 out of 4 in attendance are in favor. None of the attendants are opposed or abstained from the vote. With that, motion passes. Second, I wanted to now move that we adopt the March 2026. Oh, so, so we'll start by a motion. I'd like to move that we adopt the March 2026 minutes and rotation of minutes. So, all in favor? Great. So let the record reflect that 4 out of 4 attendants have affirmatively voted in favor of adopting a motion to adopt the March 2026 minutes and rotation of minutes. And I'd like to make a third motion at this point to adopt the February 2026 minutes and rotation minutes.
So
Lovely. All in favor? Let the record reflect that 4 out of 4 attendants have affirmatively voted to adopt the February 2026 minutes and rotation of minutes, and with that, the resolution passes. Great. So there is no new business to discuss unless somebody wants to broach anything at this point. Nope. Great. We can now move on to old business. So first up on the agenda, we've got a review of the 2027 preliminary budget. So we'll hold up shortly.
Warren, I think they did meet on that. Yeah.
Oh, did they? They already met.
So. Maybe Victor can confirm.
Vic, can you please confirm whether the meeting about the preliminary budget already taking place?
Say again, Alex?
Oh, I was just asking whether the meeting about the 2027 preliminary budget had taken place.
Yes, it had,
Okay, so I think we'll have this.
on the 23rd. we had that meeting.
Got it, okay. So then at this point, it's a group discussion to have, so we will move on to the next item, which is to assign committee members to a few things. Actually, with the establishment of quorum now, we can go back and see if we can assign committee members to visit the site at 27 Hamilton Terrace. So hopefully we might be able to move this along. I'm not sure there are friends from Reform Architecture.
They opt off.
They opt off, okay. Well, we might be able to move their request along for a resolution of support. Can we get anyone to visit 27 Hamilton Terrace? Let's see. So their vote, they're here and there, they're just gonna be on May 5th, so ideally in the next 1 or 2 weeks
Yes, we have the executive
on the 15th.
on the 9th and the community board general
Yes.
on the
15th. And they're looking to present on the 9th as well, so.
So if you were able to go and then report back to us, we could share.
Are you going to? I'm just trying to figure out, well, first, what constitutes is it? Is it meetings like this?
Yeah, you just go to the site, basically, just preliminarily speaking, obviously that doesn't mean it's not an exhaustive assessment, it's just very preliminary assessment here. They're not looking to build up, which is typically the case. So nobody has any red flags or sees any red flags at present, but just going to the site at 27 Hamilton Terrace, possibly trying to get any feedback from their neighbors to the left or to the right on either side. They said that they've already issued notices. So if we can talk to anybody within the vicinity and get a sense of where they stand and how they feel about the proposal, that would be ideal. We'll obviously place the burden on them to provide us with statements of support from their neighbors. So we look forward to receiving that. Sooner we are in receipt of that, the likelier we are to issue a resolution that would be supported.
So they're responsible for getting, well, like,
The statement.
if you want us to speak to the neighbors. And we'll come back with.
If all possible, yeah.
If it's a-
And again, just for they what it have to be done by.
So by 8th, April.
If you could take like a photo of the front of the building and the back of the building. And we'll share, once they share the presentation with us, share that with you. It's kind of like making sure that what they told us aligns with what is visible.
Hey, look. On 27. It's on 1.2. I'm trying to. Yeah, I can take it. Just trying to figure out where I can take it. It's just take one number. If films and changes, so I'm gonna be up just out of town, but yeah, I can take it to spring break. So okay. Yeah. I got you. I don't know.
Spring break
I would have got 2 weeks. Yeah, the kids are out, so it's here. So teach you about it. Teach you. Never my daughter's at school, so I can just take. Oh, right.
Let's go.
Be going.
Awesome, thank you, Lucas.
I got it. Okay.
And then some of the other ones here,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
we've had discussed, so, 451 Convent, that's demolished, lot is being sold.
Okay.
And then 726 and 722, which is on 147th Street in Saint Nick.
Yep.
Had some permits expiring when I checked. So that one. Is ongoing.
Yeah. So, do we have anyone who's assigned to go see it?
I did see.
Oh,
it.
you did see it, okay. All right,
Is that the only thing that's?
yeah, these are the only 2 additions to this one.
So we have 3 site visits that we.
Will be, the site is already in site.
Okay, gotcha. So
Right.
And then, one, I see you have a question online. That is
Yeah.
a question.
So
Want
I-
to-
can I talk?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I see that you have check out checked out a few buildings in the vicinity of my building. I live on 450 West 149th Street, also known as 436 Convent Avenue, and we have a very serious issue with the facade. If you walk by 149th and Convent, on right across the street from that church that looks like cylinders with slanted roof. I'm right
Mhm.
across from that. It's a yellowish gray building. You can see the facade from where you're standing on the floor. You can see the cracks going all the way to the sixth floor. And these old buildings, we're all, this is all a historical area.
Right.
And it's all landmark. And it's so hard to change a window or change a door because the state will stop you. But this building, for instance, hasn't been taken care of since the landlord took over in 1998. So if you walk across the street on 435 Convent Avenue, it's the most beautiful building. They have a scaffold every 5 to 7 years. We have never had a scaffold. And I just want somebody to take a look at the facade and help me out, get some authority or somebody to come and look at the building. I've talked to HPD nonstop. I talked to the building department nonstop. We have done a few things with the basement where they vacated the basement because they didn't have a certificate of occupancy. But the facade is in shambles, and I cannot imagine what the roof looks like. I just need help. I can send you pictures if you want. If you guys give me emails, I can send you pictures of the facade
Yes,
and what it
please.
looks like.
If you could send that together with any correspondence that you sent HPD and
Yeah.
or the Department of Buildings, that would be great too.
Okay.
And
Um,
can you give us the address one more time, please?
Yes, I'll put it in the chat so that you guys can check it out on your own time. It's 450
Great.
West 149th Street, also known as 436 Convent Avenue. The landlord puts two addresses so that people get confused and the authorities don't really track him that well. And this is my email address if you want to request whatever information I have. And that way we don't get our emails messed up. That's me. Oh no, I wrote it wrong. I think it's the autocorrect does silly things. Okay, let's do this again. Please erase the previous one and keep this one. Okay, let me see if I can erase
Thank you,
that.
Juan.
Thank you so much for your patience.
Of
Lovely
course,
meeting.
yeah. Oh, well, pleasure, and thank you for bringing up these important issues. Fantastic, all right, so we'll get to the bottom of that, we'll be in touch. I'll try to change some material and get in touch with the right parties to have that addressed. All right, well, that concludes new and old business. Anything else anybody wanted to mention? All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, so. All those in favor? Let the record reflect 4 out of 4 attendance, voted to adjourn the meeting to May 6th, 2026. Thank you, everybody.